I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one, because if you had a trailer on it, it'd be an unobstructed view.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Well, because,
I don't think that it is illegal.
okay, well, because I was just with somebody recently, and they had, like, in the bed of their truck, and they have, like, the overhead thing.
Yep.
It was, like, filled up to the top of that, and you can't see what's back,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I don't know, as long as it's properly secured and all those other things, I don't think it's illegal, but I don't wanna, I don't want to, give you the wrong information, so I'll find out and report back. Better write it down, cause I'll forget. What was the other thing that we talked about earlier, I said I gotta find out?
You can have one headphone in your ear.
If you can have what?
One
Like your earbud?
in your ear.
Oh, earbud. All right, I'll find out. Reduce speeds. Increase your following distance. You know, we'll talk more about that as the class goes on about following distance, what's proper following distance. Even though this minimum is 45, does that mean you still have to go 45?
No. Well, when it's like that.
Yeah. You always adjust your speed to what the road conditions will allow. So if I've been on roads where, you know, 10, 15 miles an hour, they're that bad, was a safe, so you wouldn't want to go 45 there. This is under the assumption of good roads, good conditions, so that's more for traffic flow than it is for anything. School zones, fines double and they are expensive. You guys have some of these by the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when kids are out, those are flashing, right? So I think like Pinecone's 40 miles an hour, but they got these. So do you still have to go 20 if these aren't flashing?
No.
Okay. How about these ones? Yeah. During those times of the day, you can't, you still have to maintain that 20, even if the regular road is posted at 40. How about the center one here? Yeah, only when children are present. Yellow broken up lines, two-way traffic, passing is allowed and is safe. So what we're talking about is here, you got the dash marks. Double solid yellow line, two-way traffic and cannot pass. So what we're talking about is you got yellow lines here, so they can't pass and you can't pass. A lot of times there will be signs posted as well, just indicating that that you can't pass.
So the ones that are like a solid and the dotted, then if the dotted on your side, then you can pass but the other side.
Correct, correct. Yeah, and that happens a lot. Or what she's saying is, if one of these lines is dash and the other one's solid, can you pass? The person who has the dash line on their side can pass. And the reason for that is because you're able to see at least 700 feet, right? Where the person coming the other direction can't. So. Here talks a little more about that, about passing. I can't see the yellow line real well, but so this car on this track has a solid yellow line. This one's dashed. This one, can this one pass? Yep. Can this one pass? No. Same here. How about double? Can this person pass?
No.
Yep.
Yeah, that.
Yes, because they're just dashed yellow, white lines. The yellow lines indicate that that's your lane. There's no going over your lane except for passing, if it's allowed. The white line is to divide roads that are all part of that one direction. So this person could always pass this person, but this person cannot pass somebody else in front of them. Same things here, making lane changes, you know, dash white, yellow line in the center. Sometimes they don't have to. If neither one can pass, sometimes they only put one. So you have to stay in your lane. And I can't really see what's going on in that one, so we'll move on. Pass when you can see 700 feet in front of you. And then after you pass, you can return to your lane when you can see the car you just passed in your rearview mirror. So what they're saying here is, if it's safe for you to pass, you can see 700 feet in front of you and you want to pass, go ahead and pass. But when you're in this lane passing, you don't want to move into this lane until you can see the car you just passed in your rear mirror right here. Do you guys see times when people will pass and then they barely miss you pulling back in? Happens a lot. What typically is somebody trying to do when they're doing that? They're trying to send you a message that you're not going fast enough in their opinion, and so they want to basically get up close to you and go in to try to scare you a little bit. It's just ridiculous stuff, that games that people play on the highway and the roads and stuff that aren't needed, and they're dangerous, and dangerous for you and dangerous for them too. And everybody's in such a hurry nowadays, right? Yeah. No patience. A lot more aggressive driving now than what there used to be when I was younger. Road rage. Never even heard the term road rage when I was young. How about this? Pass?
No,
How come?
because one's always 700 feet.
Yep. No idea what's coming around that corner there. I think we'll stop there. Let me see, wait a second, just let me see, there's only a few more slides. Move this stuff through real quick.
No,
There's-
there's 23 more.
Yeah.
23 more slides? Where do you see that?
Stop
Slide
sliding.
5, 78.
Oh, okay, well, that's good to know. Okay, we'll stop here. I'll make a note of how far we got. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I think Shannon's gonna be here tomorrow for you. Yes. Yeah, don't take them anywhere. You can just leave them on the table. I can pick them up. Thank you. You bet. Yeah, you bet. Appreciate it. You guys did a great job. What's that?
Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Give you guys a chance to write that down. Everybody, you got it? Okay. So what they mean by a diamond interchange, and this is probably the most common off ramp or on ramp that you'll see out there. This would be, a major road going through, and this is a bridge, and the traffic can flow under the bridge freely. If you want to get off, you use your what? Anybody remember what that's called? Deceleration lane. So you're pulling off freeway, you'd use your deceleration lane. Do you wanna decelerate as you're coming up to it? No, you wanna wait until you get on the, into the deceleration lane. A lot of times they'll give you like a little area that you can pull your car over ahead of time to get in. And so it's just basically a simple diamond. You get off here, you can get on the traffic there. If you needed to go back, you need to make basically a U-turn, you can get off, go over and get back on again. So they're very simple but effective interchange for getting on and off, and you'll see these are all over the place. The next one is a cloverleaf interchange. Easy to kind of remember which one this is. I picture this as being a butterfly, because it kind of looks like a butterfly, and he's sitting on a clover leaf. Feel free to use that one. Well, you guys are a tough crowd. Can't even crack a smile. So on this one here, a little bit different. You've got traffic obviously flowing this way. If you want to get off, in this particular case, what they want you to do is, of course, use your deceleration lanes if you're coming this direction. And if you're planning on going that direction, you can just keep continuing on with that. If you want to go that direction, what you do is you skip this off ramp and you go onto this off ramp, and then you go that direction. And it's same reversed. You know, they can get off if they're going that way. Traffic coming here can get on. If you needed to make a U-turn or wanted to go this direction, the easiest way would be to continue down the road, get on the clover leaf, and go. Almost always there's a yield sign at these points where you got to get in, because typically there's not an acceleration lane. So almost always there's going to be a yield sign. So you still have to yield for traffic. Classic case of this is Highway 10 and Division Street. You know where I'm talking about? Kind of by east side of town by McDonald's. That one that goes there. You know, they got this exact same setup for getting on and off. And then the last is Folded Diamond. So these are a little bit of a hybrid from the other ones. They basically, took the diamond interchange and just kind of folded it. This would be the main artery of traffic, and then obviously this would be going both directions here. So if you wanted to get off, go this direction, you would just turn here. If you wanted to go that direction, you just come and you take your little clover leaf, half clover leaf that way, and go that direction. And the same with the other way. Why would they do one like this versus the other ones? Any thoughts? Anyone have a guess? Huh? Smaller, yep. A lot of times it's smaller spaces, they don't have the space to put in a full interchange. Sometimes it's just obstructions on here that they can't do it. If there's a major river going here and this is a bridge across the river, they can't do the interchange over the river, so A lot of times they'll do this type of thing to avoid something natural or something that they can't get around. Weave lanes. These are a little bit unique because the person getting on and the person getting off have to watch out for each other so they don't hit. And you know, these look like something you probably haven't seen much of, but they're common down in the cities where you're driving on 94 or 694, 494, and you need to get onto this highway. So they'll have you exiting here, and you're on that other highway, and you want to exit and get on going this way. So you got to kind of merge together. Now, typically it's not that dramatic. You know, these things are a little bit wider, so they give people space to get in and out if they need to. But everybody who's in this knows that the other person is coming, and they're going to be crossing traffic. So you got to use, you know, there again, just use common courtesy. Allow the people that are coming up to get in. You know, do every other vehicle like we talked about, that type of thing, and let them get off, and they'll let you get on. So, okay. Any questions on this stuff? Okay. This is required notes. Exiting the freeway. The question on the final will be, what is the lane used for getting off the freeway called? The answer, of course, is the exit or deceleration lane, kind of we were talking about. Deceleration and acceleration lanes. You can also call it an exit lane. So, most of the time you see these in, you know, metropolitan areas, and one of the things that kind of sets most of these apart is the fact that they actually give you another partial lane to get into, you know, at regular speed here, get into it at regular speed, and then it gives you enough time to slow down to make this exit. And the other part of that question is, should you slow down before you get into the lane? The answer is no, unless there's traffic. So those will be asked on your final if you want to write those down. And obviously all this stuff that we're telling you, you have to kind of be thinking on your feet, so to speak, preparing for the unexpected. Sometimes traffic just doesn't allow for everything to go exactly as planned. So, you know, maybe the traffic's backed up here, and so that you need to make this exit, but there's no getting down. So you may have to try to creep in here as best you can, and so there's just situations when you're driving that just don't go exactly as you're planning them. Make safe lane changes on the freeways and highways. Traffic is going at a faster speed. One of the things we want to point out to this is that you want to smog before you make lane changes. Don't drive in other vehicles' blind spots. So, you know, it's inevitable you're gonna, you know, if you do any driving at all, you're gonna get in situations like this. Don't cut other drivers off when you're making your lane changes. If you're courteous and you signal that you need to make a lane change, in this type of situations, most of the time, the person that sees your turn signal on, if you're not being a yo-yo and just turning it on and then starting to move, if you're waiting for room, the person behind you will give you room. Courtesy goes a long ways when you're driving. It prevents road rage. It makes driving easier for both parties, and by that person backing up and letting you in is making the traffic actually go quicker. Shannon tells a story that she was had a car, a Corvette came up, and was right alongside her at one of the stoplights down on Highway 15, kind of by where you turn to go to Target there. And she was coming to St. Cloud, and he was a real aggressive driver, and so as soon as he saw a spot, he would speed up and get in there and kind of force his way in, and then he would go up the next one, but traffic is still moving all the time. And so what thing that she was kind of giggling about is, he got, quite a ways ahead of her, but then she kind of got up on him because he couldn't make a lane change, and he was being aggressive, and he was ticking people off, people were honking at him, doing all that kind of stuff. And when they made the turn to turn onto Riverside Road, he was right in front of her. So aggressive, obnoxious driving doesn't always get you to your destination any quicker, and you just made everybody else behind you angry. And in this day and age where people do stupid stuff, and it could be, a violent encounter if they can get a hold of you. So unfortunately, that's the way the life is going. Okay, making one lane change at a time. Don't cross multiple lanes at once. So what they're saying here is if you, this little blue car wants to get into this lane because their exit is there. So they're in this lane, you want to smog, move over a lane. Then you want to smog and move over a lane. Now what you don't want to do is you don't want to smog and then go over 3 lanes at one time without stopping here and going. The reason being is that if you're here, you may not see another vehicle here, and by the time you get there, that vehicle may be in that spot. So it's very important that you do your multiple lane changes one at a time. Like I said, if traffic is such that you can't get to it in time to get to your exit, just work your way over, take the next exit, and come back around. Do not make a U-turn. U-turns are dangerous for you and for other drivers, because the other drivers are not expecting you to make a U-turn in that spot, and they're not watching for you. And they're typically just a T and you're at stop, and you got to get into traffic that's going 65 or 70 miles an hour. It's not safe. So any questions? Amber Alert. Anybody know what Amber stands for?
Emergency response.
Okay, so the A is what? It's what? American, yeah. M? Missing. B? Broadcast. E? Emergency. R? Response. Great job. Did you guys have that already, or did you guys just know that from school?
We had it.
Got it here? Okay. Well, good. A lot of times when you see these, there obviously is somebody missing.